awesome. I really appreciate you joining in on these. I'm going to be reviewing a couple of videos today. I'm going to go over them. In one of the Facebook Live comments for number from the previous number on the 19th, Christina sent a shot of her child. Anna has posted, Sarah has posted, Netta has posted, and Agrippina has posted. So those are the ones that I'm reviewing this week. I'm trying to find a solution of just, so you see, once I post a Facebook Live, I'm going to, on like the first line, I'm going to ping these people. So if you're really interested and you want to go back, I'll describe the child a little bit. But you know me, I don't go by diagnosis or those kind of thing or what's wrong with the child. So that's still a little awkward for me. Like I see Max, I don't see right tricuspid trees. I use those words to describe someone so you can visualize, but I'm working on Max, you know, that kind of thing. We are going pretty full on with segment 1 movement lesson. I'm thrilled. Because of the virus, we've had to switch all over to online learning. I really want, guys, if you're in the class, I want you to ping on this right now and tell everybody just how hands-on it is. What I decided to do is we're going to do the 7-day training, so that's happening right now. I'm telling you all this, guys, because if you want to join in, you still can. I've offered a 3D access of one section, and other people have bought lifetime, so they can watch this and then all my segment 1s and have access to the subscription site. So there's a difference not only in price but in quantity. But now what we're doing as well with it is I'm going with the whole Facebook group specifically for 3 weeks. We didn't do 2 months, 5 months, because you know everybody, once you start going too long, then everybody waits to the end and they pile hard. The group is really active. There's a lot of learning going on. We're really busy here, which is great, but we're taking about 30 plus people through on the whole webinar existence. I like it so much that I think I'm going to make a hard call that this will be the standard prerequisite, then going into the hands-on training, and even too with all the viral stuff, we're now making provisions. Now that we have this under our belts and we know we've got a good flow, everybody's happy with the teaching format to supplement and work online with a lot of the training. Because if this is where we have to go, this is where we have to go. Again, I've said this from the beginning, it's not always about money, it's time, it's this, I'm coming from country, visas. Oh my gosh, I felt so bad. This one family couldn't get here from a visa, and they would have been here for 3 weeks. Aren't you glad you didn't come? Because you would have gotten stuck with this whole border closing thing. So that was just a twist of fate. But again, things happen. This is why I do these Facebook Lives. You can't always travel around the world just to come in and you're not sure. That being said, I'm a helper. I'm here to help you. I always am. I've got my team here. With that, speaking of movement lessons now in Spanish, Lesiones de Movement. Again, it's a separate group because we felt that some people that aren't necessarily bilingual, and you find that more with Spanish, where they're more comfortable speaking as Spanish with their primary. So you can more than happy to answer here, but if you really want that experience, we're over there as well. Claudia is hosting it all, but I'm on the group as well. And then the laser group started with that. So for those of you that have bought the laser, are in the laser series, again, I'm trying to offer, just like you have here, a private group experience going on there. That being said, we're going to start off with Christina. Christina mentioned she has a young boy with CVI, and is that why he's back flexing? And my comment was CVI has nothing to do with back flexing, and if the child is back flexing, CVI is also not your primary or only concern. One of the reasons is if, for those of you who are not familiar, CVI is cortical visual impairment. Cortical visual impairment goes both ends. You can have a neurological trauma that causes processing issue to the eyes, but in most cases the eyes are fine, right? But somehow there's a delay in the processing. Now, I've found the structure and why CVI is caused doing to the cranial structures. I'm not telling you why just yet, just because it is advanced work, and I'm working on the courses and papers to go with that now. However, when I hear back flexing, I can tell you right now that's not a CVI thing, because first of all, one of the key signs of CVI is you can't look up, and so if you're back flexing, that's different. So I get it that CVI is an issue, and yes, your child, Christina, might have CVI. Your child has a lot more visual issues that are causing his instability. That CVI is the last thing on your totem pole. So the first thing you want to deal with is he does not have binocular vision, meaning both eyes do not work together, right? You're seeing too the way he's got a cranial tilt. It's just bring the eyes apart and down. This is something really to be working with an ophthalmologist to make sure that the structure of the eye is okay. But can we offer him some kind of visual prisms to bring the eyes at least together, right? So basically what you're seeing there is, if I'm looking at you, right, I have binocular vision, the way my eyes are looking, his eyes are just apart and then down. Right, and that's where you're getting the nasal tilt and all of that kind of stuff. So he's already here. Sorry, it's hard when I move my eyes apart. And that one's a hard one to do. It interrupts breathing, it interrupts his swallow patternings, it interrupts a lot of things, but basically he cannot, the way his eyes are just off a bit and just tilted, the eye alignment's off. I hate to say this, but imagine if you had like your eyes in 2 toilet paper tubes and they were going this way. So the vision never lines up. And so that's the first thing we need to work with. I don't know if you're on a patching program or not. I can't suggest that. A doctor has to suggest it. The doctor says patch, I'm your girl. But then on top of that, he does not have convergence. And this is what helps with the sitting. And that's why when I heard back flexing. So sitting, if I'm converging, right? You see how I'm watching you, but my convergence, when I come back, my convergence goes long and goes forward. So when I'm coming down with sitting, right, do you see how my convergence is sort of like a rubber band where my eyes have to work and keep my eye up on the prize? When someone's back arching, they're totally losing their vision, or they don't have it to begin with. And so structurally, I think he just has issues there where he can't keep his eye on the prize, or if you're seeing more of these kind of movements and he's off, just trying to get his vision in line. He really needs a lot of help because of the eyes being with an alignment issue, and really needs some direction. It's not about low tone. It's just definitely the eyes that need help with, and I would suggest or suspect some ear infections or something like that. Canal issues where again there might be pressure, and that's also why he's leaning into it. But that would be binocular vision and convergence, and getting those eyes to start working together way trumps. Similar to CVI though, stick with 1 to 2, couple of toys that he's familiar with, and then that's where with movement lessons you're going to go after that pelvis, because that's another thing with the way he is. His trochanters are committed, his hips in a downward fashion, and they don't know how to work in and out because his eyes don't do that. So you're seeing the ocular movements reflected in his pelvis movement, and I would be working with some of my pelvis videos that are available here on the course. Anna, okay, it's great that you're working with him. We still got to get that spine across midline. You really can see that when he's getting up. What you're seeing is the tummy time still being difficult. The reason is it's literally like he's got a foot on his back. I'm going to go on the table if that's okay. So when he's going like this, right, when my spine can't cross midline, and one of the telltale signs, you're actually seeing his arm come back like this, right? Almost like a Superman. But see, I can't look up at you. If my spine can cross midline, first of all, I can do this to start bringing my knees into position, asymmetrical countering, but also that I can come now up like this. I can come right into sitting, and I can come right down again. So it's really, he has a lot of midline issues, but the spine is going to be your biggest bang for the buck. We've got to get that spine starting to cross midline more. He's going to start getting really frustrated, like you're starting to see in tummy time, about going to his other positions. And that's really where I'd go with that. Sarah, again, very similar situation, but more so. What I'm very concerned with her is she's a very heavy head. This time sometimes comes from her vision issues, with her eye coming in, right? So when my eye comes in, and especially too, if she's trying to lift her head up to see, what happens is I get to about here, and then I try now, my head's in position, and now I'm trying to see. When I go to have vision, now I lose my head control, right? So you're really seeing that, especially when she's in tummy time. Her main thing right here, from the sternum all the way through the back, is not crossing midline. I know she's older than this. I would really start, it's a free course, it's very easy, my newborn movement assessment. I'll put the link down, start with that and some of the basic baby videos. But really, she really needs help in that area, because the way it's locked up with the lack of not crossing midline, first of all, too, that's where you get here, but she's not countering the vision with her pelvis, and that's where I'd want to work on. Hi, Netta. There's still an issue with her chest, right in here, especially upper right. So you're seeing a bit of a difference. That's why she can roll over to her left, but not to her right. The midline stuff right here, you can see, and you know when it's in midline too, because again, the way the arms want to come back, right? Any child is going like this. All of my munchkins, when I say there's problems crossing midline, it's more like snow angels, right? Because the hands just can't come over. So here, she's like she wants to, right? And she'll come over, right? But see where the eyes and the pelvis is? You see a bit different in the left, where she's here and she's starting to come up to do it. But that's where the glitch is, right in here, that she's still not crossing that midline. And babies don't have mind over matter. They're not going to try harder. They're just responding to stimuli. It's like, ooh, sparkly, and they just come over, right? When they can't, it's almost like, there's a stake there or something, and they'll start going around it, and they'll start doing these kind of movements, because they're smart. She's very smart, and that's what's throwing you off, but it's still right in here that has to be worked on, something with her midline. Once that gets opened up more, that's when you still have to coordinate that head with the pelvis to get those kind of movements. Agrippina. So there's a couple of things here. A lot of the difficulty, very similar to what I've been saying about the lack of midline, but this now is more the vision. You have intermittent exotropia, esotropia, so the eyes, it doesn't matter that the eyes are coming in, but not together like this. So 1 minute the left eye's coming in, and then the right eye's coming in, and then the left eye, so it's intermittent. This is pretty hard on the system, because first of all, that means neither one of the eyes can cross midline. And what that means is I should be able to follow something, and the eyes are like darts, and they shoot after it. When I had the left eye in, right, I have to figure out which eye I'm going to go look with, and the right, and it throws off where he's going. So the crawling, it's not even close to happening. He had problems with rolling over. He never grabbed his feet properly. He does not come to sitting through his back, and now it's really starting to show in his crawling. And he, again, because of that, he can't cross midline, and again, you see it in the spine. So what you're seeing here, right? Yeah, so what he does is he can, yes, you'll say he rolls, but his rolling is like this, and he comes over here, and this is where he comes straight up. See, I didn't cross midline to do any of that, and see, I can't see you, see where my head is down. And this is where, again, he doesn't have a pubic bone strike, and it's really showing in crawling. So he's still here and doing these kind of things because that pubic bone can't come down, or he can come up. And also when I'm here, then I can just go boom right on my pubic bone strike, right? And I can crawl and go out of it, and crawl and go out of it, and come back up and look at you. And this is where crawling, this is why he can't weight transfer through the hands, because he can't weight transfer through the eyes. Right, so I know we have the virus thing going on. Normally I would definitely be saying go to the ophthalmologist first. Eyes are muscles. I still need to know what the structure is. So definitely make that appointment. And why. And I really, when you're making the appointment, bring my free PDF or go over that first on how to go to an ophthalmologist to have a successful visit. And really talk to that doctor about patching. Meanwhile, while you're working on that, I have a really good section here in the units on the Facebook group, starting working with spine rotation, chest rotation, and then work on synchronizing the eyes with the spine, and that's where I'd go. So with that, guys, I do a lot of video reviews of people that are new to movement lesson and needing to know where to go. There's one coming in, sorry, it just came in too late about the scapula. It's going to have to wait till next week because I didn't have a good video on the vision. Anyone that's trying to get a movement, we have to look at successful movement, a transitional milestone. The word transitions means just that, it going from one to the other. I'm not talking about prone to supine. Right? It's the ability to go from sitting to standing, standing to sitting, from standing to the floor, where you're transitioning in and out of a pose, from lying to sitting. I look at really, and my internal evaluation goes after where the child's processing their most successful transitional skills. When things get said like coming to all fours, that's a static pose. If I was, no typical child is just in all fours. They don't hang out there. They don't, they're in and out. They sit, they crawl, they sit, they kneel up, down on their bellies. That's part of the process, but that's not the process, and that's not the end all, as an example. Just like when you place a child in sitting, that's a different than coming to sitting, and especially coming to sitting through the back. So one of the things, or some of the things I look at with movement lesson is a transitional milestone. However, a lot of these munchkins have visual issues. I can spot them a mile away, and the visual issues, any child that has issues with vision, whether it's delayed maturation or a weak muscle, lazy eye, whatever you want to call it, it will still, not necessarily, I would say the word is inhibit movement, it'll redirect. So movement lesson is not here to find any kind of fault in a child. It's just that no matter whether you've had trauma or not, due to genetics or birth, or you're just not sure what's going on, it's about helping your child move better. If you help your child move better, then they can do that much more. It's just mathematical. It's not hypothetical. It's just that when you can do a movement, then you can do 10 times more. And so that's what I'm after, is successful movement. So whatever you need help with, guys, please post it. Do I have any questions? Am I good?
No questions.
No
There's just
questions.
people commenting that the segment 1 is absolutely awesome. Kimberly said it's so good, and if you can be on it immediately, you can go back whenever you can. And those are people just commenting on how great segment 1 has been doing.
Yeah, really, guys, between the software that I have now, with even that you can do all of this stuff as a phone app, really is helping movement lesson. But again, it's helping you guys. That's my whole number one. I would like to propose possibly even doing private weekly webinars. I don't know if there's a topic that someone would like to join in to get more of my free time. Again, especially with all the closures going on, our kids are going to be number one affected. No therapy. There's no school. There's no nothing. You guys are not only homeschooling, but you're now home therapists. And really, I have so many videos out there free and with a subscription site and by courses. Please, with what you need help with, think about going through and just doing a course and working on that to help your child. I have so much to offer, again, from free to very nominal in some areas. In some areas, the bigger courses, are time consuming and they expect a lot of you, and I expect a lot of you, but we can do it. If I learned it, you can learn it.